Hi everyone, my name is Felix and I'm a Nigerian based in Canada. I came to Canada in 2022 for my master's degree and currently I'm in my penultimate semester, and by the end of this year I should be rounding up my degree. Like I said in the introductory video of this channel, that my goal of starting this channel is to help people that are interested in coming to Canada, especially to study abroad like I did, and that is what I want to be addressing today. So today I'll be talking about a topic that is highly requested. A lot of people have come to my DM on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, even on Facebook, asking me questions about what are the things to consider when coming to Canada. So today I'll be talking about the things to consider when you are looking for graduate schools in Canada. So if this is something that you really want to do, want to come to study in Canada, you really don't need anybody to help you. So please just watch this video to the end. And I believe that at the end of this video, you should be able to, you should have the confidence to do the application yourself. So just a little background about myself. I did my admission myself. I did my visa myself. Basically, everything from the admission process to landing in Canada was done by myself. And if this is something you want to do yourself too. So when you are looking for graduate school in Canada, the most important thing and the first thing to look for is the DLI of this institution that you are interested in. Not all schools have DLI in Canada. DLI, the learning institution, and this is the number that is given to them by IRCC to certify them. So if students study at these schools, after the degree, they have option to apply for postgraduate work permit, otherwise known as PGWP. So if your school doesn't have a DLI, you are not qualified to apply for postgraduate work permit. Postgraduate work permit means after you are done with your master's degree, say you come for a 2 years master's degree, you can stay back for extra 3 years, and that's like 5 years. So if you study for 2 years, you're able to stay back for extra 3 years. And if your program is 1 year, you stay back for another 1 year. That's like 2 years. So not all schools has this DLI, so don't make such mistake. And I believe most people know this already. It's just I'm just saying it again just to reiterate so that you don't fall, you don't make such mistake. And the next thing I would like to talk about is the funding. It is very, very important to look for the funding availability of that school. Not all schools provide funding for their students. So if your school is not providing you funding and you are going to fund yourself, you have to make sure that it's something you can afford. And if you cannot afford it, make sure that you can at least pay half of your tuition upfront before you come to Canada. So if your school is going to fund you, mostly funding comes in form of assistantship, and that is when you have to work for a lecturer in your department, and the funding and when you have to work either as a and that is when you have to work either as a researcher or as a teaching assistant, assisting your lecturer, and they will tuition for you, so you don't have to worry about tuition. And sometimes they even give you stipend for upkeeping. And if your program is not funded, a lot of time people do ask question, can I fund my degree myself? Yes, to an extent. And what I would advise you to do is, so if you are coming for a 2 years master's degree, at least make sure you pay for 1 year upfront. So when you get here, you start working towards paying the second year. And if you are coming for a 1 year master's degree or 1 year program, make sure you pay for the whole 1 year, or at least pay for the first 6 months. Then when you come here, you can start working towards the other 6 months. That will make the journey very, very simple for you. It may be almost impossible to start paying the tuition immediately you land in Canada, because sometimes you may not even be able to get a job as you land immediately. So that's very, very important to have at the back of your mind. Then the next thing I would like to talk about is the application process itself. The application process itself sometimes can be daunting and it can be confusing for a lot of people that are not experienced in doing it themselves, in doing things like online application. But trust me, it is simpler than you think. So there are some documents that are very, very important when you are preparing for your application. Number one is your statement of purpose, academic transcripts, your resume. Number four, your degree certificate itself. Then number five is your reference letter from your lecturers. They often ask for 2 or 3 reference letters. So if your school is asking for 3 reference letters, make sure that at least 2 of those letters are from your lecturers that can speak about your academic prowess. And make sure, so I would advise you to get 3 of them from your lecturers if possible. If you're not able to get them, make sure you get at least 2 from your lecturers and 1 from maybe your boss. A lot of people like to take shortcuts. They just fill in any email or just ask their friends to fill the form for them. Please don't make that mistake because they are going to do background check. Another thing is your resume. Make sure your resume is a Canadian. Maybe in another video, I'm going to talk about those as a topic themselves because you need to pay attention to all those little details. For example, on your resume that you are using to apply for graduate school, you don't need your date of birth. You don't need some of all those additional details we used to have, extras we used to have, like maybe back home. You don't need those. You don't need your picture. You don't need all of those. So there's a certain format you have to follow. And then the last thing I would like to talk about is your statement of purpose itself. I'm really going to make a separate video about it, about write your statement of purpose, or possibly maybe ask a friend to do the video with me so we're able to address this. So those are the 5 documents you have to gather when you're applying for your application. I would like to add is your proof of language proficiency. But if you are coming from a West African country like Nigeria, Ghana, I don't think you really need it because they believe we speak good English already and over time fully to them. And most schools in Canada don't need your, they won't even ask. And even if they do ask and you want, or you want to just add it as an additional document, you can go to your school senate to ask them to write a letter for you stating that you are proficient in speaking English and in fact that you had your maybe your first degree in English language. So if you have that document, that should be enough for your admission application. Then the last thing I would like to talk about in this video is stay in contact with the admission body itself. A lot of people don't know how to use email, and I find that it to be concerning. As a graduate, you should be able to use email professionally and communicate with people efficiently. Do your research, know how to address your potential lecturers or your potential supervisor. Felix is Felix. There is no need for adding Mr. Felix. So all those little things. So maybe in other videos I will talk about this thing. So let me know other topics to talk about by requesting in the comment section. So if you are still watching this video, I would like you to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that it's going to reach out to much more people and it's going to even encourage me in creating more content like this. See you in the next video and until then, peace.